Hey, welcome back to Road Tripping with Rachel. I'm Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me here on this road trip. As you know, during Vlogmas this last year, I did two mini-series simultaneously. We went through Christ in the Carols over the course of the weeks leading up until Christmas, and then on Sundays, we actually did a different series all about Advent. So I really enjoyed doing that. It allowed me to simultaneously look at two different things, plan two different things. It gave me a bit of a mental break from just being in one lane all the time. And I decided I wanted to do something similar here throughout this year of 2025. Now, this mini series I'm going to be doing throughout, it's not necessarily going to be replacing anything for the rest of my channel. I'm still going to do my road trips. I'm still going to be doing things that are happening in my life. I'm still going to be doing my overall year-long Bible study. But I did want to go on ahead and also contribute a little bit of time to some of the things that I am just very, very interested in. And one of those things that I find absolutely fascinating is the liturgy. Now, as most of you know, if you've been on my channel for a while, I've talked about it. I was actually raised Southern Baptist. So the Baptists, we don't have a liturgy. It's not a thing for us. Although, I would probably argue that, no, we do in some form. But I'm talking more of the traditional liturgy that is used. And primarily, I wanted to focus in on the liturgical calendar. What I find so fascinating about the liturgical calendar, though, is not so much that it is primarily related to Catholicism, but that the whole idea is that celebrating the life of Jesus and the coming of the Messiah again for his second coming is that you live your life throughout the year remembering the life of Christ. So during Advent is the beginning of the liturgical calendar, so it starts 4 Sundays before Christmas. And then at the time that I am filming this, we just had Epiphany, which is supposed to be the celebration of when the wise men actually came and they offered their gift to Jesus, gold, myrrh, and frankincense, which would have been when Jesus was about somewhere between 2 and 3 years old. It's also the official end of the 12 days of Christmas. So a lot of people wonder where the 12 days of Christmas came from. I did do a series on that for Christmas of 2023, but the 12 days of Christmas start on Christmas Day and actually will run through January 6th. And then that is your 12th day of Christmas. So Christmas time is those 12 days according to the liturgical calendar, and we just celebrated Epiphany. Now, I'm not going to include all of the liturgical celebrations that are considered a part of the liturgical calendar out of Catholicism, but I am going to want to hop on every so often and just talk about some of the big ones that both Catholics, Protestants, and Orthodox could and do celebrate. So we're talking Advent, which already happened. I didn't hop on and do a big video about it, but Advent's already happened. Epiphany, I'm going to come on for Mardi Gras. We're going to talk about Lent. We're going to get into Palm Sunday, Good Friday, Maundy Thursday. We're going to talk about Easter Sunday. We're going to talk about Pentecost. And then we're also going to talk about the Reformation once we get into October. I'm super excited about this series. I have been looking and thinking about this actually for several years, not just since I've been on YouTube. And I think it is going to be great fun to have some people join me as we celebrate the liturgical calendar this year. And we take a year and just remember the life of Christ as we anticipate his second coming. So I hope that you join me for this journey and that you have a lot of fun with it along the way. But with that, let's go on ahead and get into Epiphany. So let's just talk about Epiphany for a little bit. The whole idea of Epiphany is that it is the official end of the Christmas season. We've had our 12 days. We are now celebrating really what becomes the next phase of Jesus's life. So he has gone from being a newborn baby to being a toddler. And it is where now people outside of just the shepherds and the angels are recognizing who this precious little boy is. And you have these wise men who We tend to think of it as 3 because of the 3 gifts, but we actually don't know how many wise men actually came with Jesus to give him the gifts. We just know that gold, myrrh, and frankincense were all offered to him. All of them are very kingly gifts. All of them are of very high value. I mean, gold, come on. Very high in value. It is also at approximately this time, or very close to it, that King Herod is going to begin to wipe out the babies that were born in Bethlehem. And Joseph will have a dream where an angel will tell him like he needs to flee to Egypt. And so that is where they are going to be headed. Now there's a whole lot more involved in that. We celebrate, and I'm talking we, like the church at large, we celebrate the liturgical calendar because we are recognizing how different dates across the calendar are meant to symbolize different times throughout the life of Christ. So we have like Christmas time, which is going to have like a lot of purples and reds and greens and gold and all these other fun colors. And then we're going to get into what is considered to be like common time. So it's kind of that in-between time between the different seasons. And our next big event that we are going to have coming up is actually going to be Lent. So there's not a ton of stuff that happens on the liturgical calendar between Epiphany and then getting to Lent that Protestants would be celebrating. And if you're new to my channel, a Protestant is just someone who isn't Catholic or Orthodox. Catholicism is the term that is Roman Catholic, the church that has basically has been around, really formally has been around since like 200 to 300 AD. And then in the 1500s is when we had the Reformation with Martin Luther. The church split, and you still had the Roman Catholics, and then you had those who were Protestants. So I am a Protestant. I am not Catholic. However, I do believe in one holy Catholic Church, which means universal. So yes, I do consider Catholics to be Christians. I do consider Orthodox to be Christians. Protestants, yes, we're Christians. And it comes down to the relationship the individual has with Christ to determine whether or not they are truly Christians. It is not based off of their denomination. That being said, though, if we all agree on like the core tenets of the faith, if there is a question about that, then no, you are not a Christian. So there is my stance on that. But I'm going to be talking about this like as we go throughout the year. These are going to be kind of sporadic. They're going to come out relatively close to the actual days that are being celebrated. But I hope that you join me for this ride that we are going to be on as we road trip throughout the year. Now, getting back to Epiphany though, they do go to Egypt. And remember, the Jewish people were in Egypt where they were slaves during the book of Exodus. They came over at the tail end of the book of Genesis. Then the big picture throughout the very beginning of Exodus is God bringing his people out of slavery. It is very much a picture of salvation for the people of Israel. And likewise, Egypt was a place of refuge, and then they leave when God called them to leave. Likewise, Jesus's life, when you look at it through the lens of the liturgical calendar, and then you also look at it through like major events of the Old Testament, it very much mirrors what is going on. So Jesus's family goes to Egypt. It is a place of refuge, and then they are going to return to their home. And they end up settling in Nazareth. And then, like I said, there's not a whole lot that's going to be happening. We'll be in what was referred to as common time, which is often symbolized by the color green, because we're going to come into spring, new life, growth, all of those things. And then the next big event that's going to be coming up on the calendar is going to be Lent, which is going to be where we celebrate the beginning of Jesus's earthly ministry. And that is often marked by a large party known as Mardi Gras, which is actually a celebration of all of the things that you want to be able to do before you give them all up for Lent. We'll get more into that once we get closer. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do like 2 separate videos for that or just one video for it, since they happen right, literally next to each other, Fat Tuesday and then Ash Wednesday. But we will go on ahead and we will have some fun with these videos. So I hope that you all join me. If you enjoyed this, make sure that you like and subscribe so that way you'll be able to get the notifications. Make sure that you hit that bell. And I hope to see you guys all next time. Bye.